Hello, it's me. I'm still alive. That's right, just like the Portal song. There's a Silksong announcement today. This is the most important bit of news this week. There was no other news this week. There was not a Nintendo Direct-like thing this week. Nuh-uh, wags finger. Yeah, I really like Hollow Knight. There's probably going to be more reactions of this probably very short thing than what you would have gotten if I had bothered to watch that Kirby Direct. So, yeah. Oh, buddy boy, it's been a long time coming, this game. I don't know why they spent so much time not making it, but it'll all be worth it in the end, I'd imagine. Yeah, I don't really know what to say beyond this. It's just a game that exists. I'm excited for it. It's crazy that we might actually be at the point where we will get a true and proper release date. Not like, ooh, coming out sometime this year, we might get a full-on, like, oh, it's coming out in September kind of deal, you know? Just something proper. And that's nice. That is so very nice to have, finally. I haven't been a fan of the series for the longest time. Well, I say series, it's, for now, really only one game. But, you know, I got into it, say, 2-3 years back, and I've been quite fond of it ever since. You know, I did practically everything I could. Still yet to beat Pantheon 5. Maybe I will by the end of this, but I have my doubts. I'll get it done in time. Especially if we end up getting a release date for within the next 2 months. Because if I recall correctly, Xbox has their new handheld releasing. And they're like, oh, well, this will be playable on it. Ooh, we've given you a window. That kind of thing. All of Xbox, that's twice now they've given us an idea of when the game release. First time they were wrong, though. They were very wrong. Apologies for any keyboard noises hearing as well. I'm trying to whip together a crappy little thumbnail really quickly. Because I did not really plan ahead for this. What can I say? It's just spur of the moment. Hit awesome. I just hope the game looks good, and I hope that it's coming out soon enough, because, dearie me, I don't think people could wait for a next year release, you know? I just think it's been too long. It's been far too long. At this point, if it's within anything more than, like, 3 months, they're not fucked, you know? It's Hollow Knight. People love Hollow Knight. It'd be so funny if I thought there's like to be asked. Yeah, that is, like, that's a scary thing, is that there's a chance that it's just awful. Like, you truly don't know. It could be garbage. I hope it's not, and I have a feeling it won't be. Look, in my eyes, this is like how in the original version of the game, in the first game, they had a lot of content missing. 10 seconds. So this is just like we're getting our final version with the Pantheons and whatnot, you know? Instead of making us wait for the updates, it's just fully done. Okay, Zero, let's have a little look, see what's happening. Oh, you get away, chat. Oh my god, Team Cherry's making this? Okay, show us something new. Come on, we've seen all this before. Oh yeah, oh, okay, you don't drown. That's cool. Ascend. Yeah, the first game was mostly about getting down deeper and deeper, so makes sense to have up be the next goal. Though we already knew it'd be a much more vertical game. Can't wait for the... Oh, hey, there we go. If we're going up, why was there so much sideways action there? Yeah, all sorts of variety of enemies, gotta love that. Proper Wii animations are back as well, very nice. I still think the backgrounds are a bit too blurry. Over 200. Oh, that looks like... Okay, I'm sorry, over 200, like, enemies? Or... There we go, 40 bosses. Okay, 40 bosses. Not a bad number. Not a bad number. Especially if the bosses are a lot more in-depth than before. Hollow Knight Silksong. And release date. Come on, baby. Give me a release date. Please? September 4th. Okay. That's a friend of mine's birthday. Lucky them. I'm not sure if they even like Hollow Knight. Right then. September 4th. That's like, what, 2 weeks away? Dearie me, that is close. So yeah. Hollow Knight, huh? Pretty nifty. Jeez. I don't really know what to say. That's the big issue with this, is that I could very well go in frame by frame and try and analyze things, but I mean, okay, fine, that is kind of my area of expertise in some ways. But yeah, no, that is very much very soon. It's not quite a shadow drop, and I'm thankful for that. Them releasing it like right now would be the worst case scenario. So no, I am very much happy that they have given us at least a little bit of a release window here. At least a little bit of time to prepare. The ending was very Void related for all you Hollow Knight aficionados out there. The stuff that the knight that you play as in the game was made out of. But to my knowledge, that is not what what's her face here, Hornet here is. Even though with the same black kind of look to her down here, and with like the outfit on, she ain't Void. So I have to wonder. There's this other thing I saw where she's wrapped in a cocoon, weirdly like over here. Then the actual one you play as attacks it, and some Void like stuff drops out. So. It seems very much like the Hollow Knight kind of lore, quote-unquote, in a sense, is carrying over. I still have no clue if this game takes place before or afterwards. I want to say... I kind of want to say after, you know? Because she was sort of guarding the area of Hallownest, so I have my doubts that she would leave that to come back to it. Maybe to get stronger, but no, I very much have my doubts. 40 bosses. I'm going to have to check how many bosses were in the original, because I think it might have been 50. Of course, that's after all the updates, but how many bosses? There we are. 47 unique bosses. Okay. So, 47 of them. And that probably includes, yeah, that's including the variations. So, your Hollow Knight and your perfected version of them. So, that is pretty good. Like, keep in mind, the final update for Hollow Knight added in, what, like 7 bosses? The Nail Master, the Double Nail Masters, the other Nail Master. Yeah, okay, fine. It's a lot of Nail Masters. Perfect version of you, perfect version of you. Okay, that was like 5 or 6. So for the base day 1 version, there's certainly a lot more content. And like the look of the map, I want to see the map again, if we can. Because, interestingly enough, that map was going mostly sideways. And that's confusing to me, because like they just said that, oh, look, it's a, you're climbing vertically. Also, this guy... If we can go back for a moment, please. Pretty please. I've been kind. Okay, I'm really liking the variations of bosses. This is really giving me the vibes of the Grim Troop. I have my doubts if it is, but stuff like the big kind of ball you saw in the background, if I can go back a couple frames, please. I don't know, this is just really reminding me of the Grim Troop, because I'm pretty sure they had some weird apparatus vaguely reminiscent of that. And of course, just the focus on red. For this main person. Restore Kingdom Soap. I am still very much excited, you know? More Hollow Knight you can't really complain about, though it just seems like there's so many moves going on. So many new things you can do. I am a bit worried about it. Maybe it's a bit too overwhelming, but I have a feeling that is what the devs been working on this whole time, is trying to figure out how to make the game have so much new stuff, but still be accessible, still be a proper game that you played on its own, you know? The thing about sequels is that as much as you do want sequels to be an expansion of the original game, you also want them to be something new, but then you also want them to be fine for newcomers, so it's quite difficult making them. And making them perfectly, you know? But yeah, I'm just... It's cool seeing parts of this fully realized. Like, you'll see stuff we've already seen before, but I have no doubt that the real Hollow Knight aficionados out there will have proper breakdowns where they will go frame by frame, be like, okay, this guy used to look left, now he looks right. What does that mean? And smaller things like that. That thing again with the orb and the weird shape seems to be everywhere. A sting shard. See, it's stuff like this. Stuff like all these different options worry me a wee bit, you know? But I just have to imagine that these required materials are what kind of gatekeeps them and allows them to flow in more naturally. You know, it gives the player the option to choose however they want, go with the order that they want, but they're still they're built in such a way that it's like, okay, by this point in the game, the player should have at least, like, 2 of these. There we go. Okay, so, Far Fields, Pilgrim's Rest. This is very much looking like the start of the game area. A big fall, which matches up with how the game starts. Greymore, Belhart. Yeah, you're being kind of carried in a cage, if I recall correctly. So more than likely, you start the game actually here. Or there. There we go. That looks like the cage that Hornet pops out of. And then that makes a bit more sense for this here. So you've kind of fallen down, you're here. You go about, do your usual Hollow Knight business. Do you go left or right here? Okay, so you're going up and to the left. The Marrow must be the bone lava kind of place. Belhart must be the big old city that we've seen. Very vertical look to it. Shellwood. Shellwood I'm not sure if we have seen. Halfway Home. Greymore I think we have. It's a grey kind of place. Bone Bottom. Oh, wait, no, never mind. That might be the cage from the start of the game. That's looking a lot more like a broken cage. Yeah, okay. So that's probably where you actually start, and then it links up into here. This is the big open area that we've seen before. If that makes more sense, then this connects up, because that's the bridge that falls and collapses. Okay. So, as they said, though, it's a very much a vertical experience, but this is still quite wide. Like this area, for example, the Marrow, is right next to this area, which is right next to this area. All of these are going in one big kind of line along a side. Even though the whole game is built upon going up and up and up and up, it's not going to be like, here's one area and immediately glued on top is another area. There seems to be a lot of going in the middle as well. So you do have to wonder how massive this game's going to be, how giant and whatnot, you know? It's also going to be very interesting going back now and seeing the way that people tried to connect up the map and seeing if they were right with that. The wee symbols you can stick onto the map are back, but I think they might have added more, or at the very least changed what they look like. You've got benches, which continues as your save points, I'd imagine. This, which probably means shops. Just all sorts. A lot of new moves, a lot of new abilities, a lot of new everything. It's going to be Hollow Knight but tougher, all in all. And my main hope is just that, in it being Hollow Knight but tougher, it's not too much to take in all at once. That is really my big hope, is that they've spent so long delaying the game up until the 4th of September 2025, specifically because they wanted to make sure that the game was built right, had this nice flow to it, made sure that all players could play through it and learn things at a good pace, that they aren't overwhelming them, that they aren't making things too difficult, but that they aren't making things too easy either, because there is a certain expectation amongst Hollow Knight players for difficult enough fights, you know? Well, I really do have hope for Team Cherry and the team, and I do believe this game is probably going to be great, probably going to be awesome sauce, and that 4th of September, again, it's not quite, you know, ridiculously early. It makes a lot of sense, because you do have that demo that has recently come up again, and you've got the Xbox thing, as I said, pre-stream, releasing soon enough, and it was said that this handheld would be there for it. So it does make sense for it to be soon, but yeah, September 4th. That is interesting. That's an interesting time frame. I think I'm happy with it. Maybe I mightn't have the most going on. I'll at least get, like, a day or two with the game, which probably isn't going to be enough for it, considering the size, but you know, it'll be fun, especially since I missed out on the initial Hollow Knight hype, which meant that I had seen bits and pieces, I had gotten guides that I could go to any time if I'm missing something, so now I'm going to be forced to just play the game and experience it and try 100% it myself, which is going to be, you know, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, but I'm excited for it, and I hope that those who actually join me here are also going to be excited for it. I didn't think people would join. Thank yous. I'm going to go to